Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. We're back with some Dokkan. Yes, we're still playing this game, don't worry, even though Sparking Zero is out and I'm fully locked in, we're still going to be covering Dokkan. Dokkan is still the pride and joy of the channel, so don't worry about that too much. As I said, we're still going to be playing this game and we're still going to be covering it like normal. So we are going to be using Super EZA Full Power Frieza against Supreme Magnificent Battle Beast Gohan. I've switched up the team that I've brought just a little bit, just so we can have a few more units with big bad bosses. I say a few, it's one. From the team that I tried him out with the showcase, it's literally just one extra unit. So I brought EZA LR Janemba on the team. Kid Buu was another big bad boss unit, but I've taken him off and put Team Turles on instead, just because he does have type advantage, or they have type advantage at the end. 50% damage reduction, you know, once they super attack, they're golden. Now usually I would have had Full Power Frieza on the team, but you know, once his damage reduction's gone, he's very fragile nowadays, so I decided to opt out of that. So Super EZA Full Power Frieza is going to be missing quite a few of those typical Frieza links, which is a shame. So as long as we get big bad bosses and then support on the rotation, which Team Turles is going to be providing, and then so's in LR Broly's domain, which of course we have 2 of them, we should be fine. Especially once we load him into slot 2 and he gets the extra 150% attack and defense. But do remember, we're not facing a pure Saiyan enemy, so we're actually missing out on 12 ki, but more importantly, an extra 150% attack. So we are missing out on that, but as I said during the showcase, majority of the enemies in the game are, or at least difficult enemies in the game right now, are hybrid Saiyan enemies. There are a few pure Saiyan enemies, but they're not like the big bad final stage. Which I say big bad, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of the more recent ones, they really weren't difficult. I mean, especially the one from Worldwide, like it's just not difficult at all. But during the showcase, we were facing SSBE, we were facing a pure Saiyan enemy, so we did have the full Ki 12, 150% attack. We don't have that this time around. So he will be a little bit weaker, but that's completely fine. We do still have the majority of his damage reduction. As I said before, this team has so much damage in it, including Full Power Frieza, which we're not going to be able to utilize here, because Gohan does nullify Ki Blast base supers. But at least we still have the majority of his damage reduction, so even though he's not in slot 1, he still does have, what, an extra... Actually, no, we've lost it, I think. Or we have an extra 10%. An extra 10% left to go. I mean, he's in slot 2 anyway, so I mean, he does get a super attack first. He does get an extra 150 on super, and don't forget, he is raising his defense by 30% for 3 turns. So it's fine. But even though he does lose that 30% damage reduction, starting from turn 5, so we actually do still have all of that. If we put him in slot 1, we would have had a full 80, because of course he gets 30% for being in slot 1, but we actually do still have all of that. It's turn 5 he starts to lose it, so we're actually still chilling. And I do really like that, because again, because there's so much damage in this LR Broly team, which is the best place to run him. Honestly, I've never seen Gohan nullify so many super attacks before. Maybe I just don't bring that many Ki Blast base units, but I don't think I've ever seen him do that so many times. But considering the LR Broly 200% lead has so much damage in the team, including, as I said, Full Power Frieza, getting to turn 5, you're probably a decent way through quite a few of the events in the game. Just because, as I said, this team has so much damage attached to it that by the time you get to turn 5, by the time Frieza starts to lose his damage reduction, you're probably a good portion away through the fight anyway, so it doesn't actually impact you that negatively as it first seems. Like, it's a shame you get to lose it anyway, obviously. But those first 5 turns, Frieza is your go-to slot 1 unit, or can be. Because you have the 30% that he keeps in slot 1 no matter what, because he doesn't lose that. The extra 150% defense is nice, but I think that only takes him to like just over 200k with big bad bosses active. So it's only going to do so much. But then you have 50% damage reduction for 5 turns fully with an extra 30 in slot 1. That's 80% damage reduction. That's almost full damage reduction. So that means any event in the game, Super EZA full power Frieza is just chilling in slot 1 until turn 5 hit. And then as I said, with the amount of damage that can be done in this team, you know, you have Int LR Broly, EZA Tech LR Broly, Carnival LR Broly. Depending on the event, EZA Int Broly because of how many times he can super attack and stack. 9th anniversary Broly. Frieza himself. There are so many high damaging units on this team that getting to turn 5, you're probably, as I said, already a good portion away through the fight anyway. I mean, if we didn't have all the nullifiers to contend with, we've only just hit turn 5 now, and we're in the most difficult part of the event. So, literally, starting from now, Frieza's going to start losing his damage reduction. So right now, he still pretty much has all of it. So as long as we have him in slot 1, he has 70-80% damage reduction right now. Along with some support from Turles, which takes him up to 231k defense. So I'm actually going to let him stay there. We also don't have to use a Senzu Bean, which is nice because Janemba got locked. But I'm actually going to let him stay there. Yeah, double digits on normals expected. We even get to super attack before a potential super comes our way. So that's even more defense for him. Double, good damage as well. As I said, he was going to lose out on a decent amount of damage because we're not facing a pure Saiyan enemy. We also haven't actually moved him into slot 2 either. So he is missing out on an extra 150. No super attack in slot 1 though, which is a shame. So I did actually generally want to see how much damage he was going to take before his damage reduction starts to dip. But for once, Gohan has decided not to super attack me in slot 1, which is not something you see too often. Maybe he got bored with all the nullifiers and was like, I'll let you off a little bit. I didn't want you to let me off. I wanted you to super attack me in slot 1 and you didn't do it. He didn't super attack me at all. Since when does that happen? I might have to go buy myself a lottery scratch card, like, or go do the lottery or get myself a scratch card because that never happens. I might win big if I go do the lottery. I said, what are the odds? What are the chances he doesn't super attack you straight away in this phase? Like I said, he always does it. Always. But regardless, I mean, I have no doubt that full power Frieza would have tanked a super attack from him just fine. Would it have been double digits? Maybe not. But he still would have tanked it just fine. Okay, now you super attack me. Of course you do. I mean, it keeps us in the fight a little bit longer. I mean, maybe, because we still have EZA Tech LR Broly to come. Like, would he have tanked it just as well as that? Probably. Would he have tanked it for double digits? Maybe not, but that's completely fine. Taking a few thousand damage from, like, almost a 2.5 million super attack, still very good. But annoyingly, he has started losing his damage reduction, so probably time to move him into slot 2. He will do more damage now, which is good. But of course, because he's not in slot 1, we do lose 30% damage reduction. I was actually fine with you doing normals. I was fine with you doing normals. As long as we're done here, we get one more rotation of full power Frieza. Leave him alone. Good Broly. Good Broly. So, I mean, we're on what? Turn 7? And technically, he still hasn't actually lost all of his damage reduction. Technically, he still has an extra 10%. So, instead of the full 50, we still have 30% damage reduction. We still have 60. This is probably going to kill him, though. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I mean, he would have had 60% damage reduction, but I don't doubt once Frieza super attacks in slot 2, he'd probably be okay. It's just the slot 1 I really wanted to test before the damage reduction dropped, but for some reason Gohan didn't want to super attack us for once, which is really odd. This is what I mean. Turn 7, we finished the fight. A couple of the new difficult content may get to like turn 9, but you're only going to see Frieza one more time. That's if he appears on turn 1, by the way. You're only going to see him one more time without all the extra damage reduction, which by the time then, you've moved him into slot 2. He does even more damage. You're looking at like a 30+ million attack stat. Maybe a little bit less because you're not facing a pure Saiyan enemy. And with, as I said, the amount of damage that is in LR Broly's team, they're going to be dead on that rotation anyway. They're going to be dead probably by turn 9 anyway. So even by the time he loses all of it, you don't really get to see him without it. And one of the other rotations, he's going to be not appearing that turn, so you actually don't get to see him without it then either. So the fact he loses it from turn 5 really doesn't seem to be an issue because you just do too much damage to the point where you're going to fly through the majority of the fight before it starts to drop, which is fantastic because you get to keep it for as long as possible and where it's most important and you need it. But then by the time he does lose it, with these fights being a little bit longer, because you do so much damage, it's never really going to affect him. So, I mean, he can handle Beast just fine. But let me think down in the comments. Dokkan is still going to be on the channel, don't worry, even though Sparking Zero is here, and so is more Sparking Zero content, so make sure you are subscribed for that. While you're down there, show your boy some love by dropping a like on the video. I'll see you in the next one. Take care, have a good rest of your day, and post.